just a detour. A shortcut.
A shortcut to what?
Mushrooms!
In order to truly start at the beginning, you must first understand that we are more closely related to fungi than any other kingdom. So, in a way, they are in fact our ancestors. They were the first. They are the divine. We share so much in common with them that we get most of our powerful antibiotics from fungi, because they hate bacterial infections just as much as we do. Think about that for a second. Fungi came before any living animal or tree. All that we know and identify today evolved and split away from the kingdom of fungi.
Maybe we can rapidly evolve into water creatures.
That's genius, Sid.
Next time, before you devour that stuffed portobello mushroom, say a little prayer. Let's talk about magic mushrooms and Vikings. Research was made difficult, thanks to the Vikings not keeping any records, coupled with the fact that we don't have any mention of them in Anglo-Saxon accounts. This puts a huge damper on my hopes of having them ever use magic mushrooms at all. The belief that Viking berserkers ate the trippy fungi and went off to battle was first introduced by Swedish professor Samuel Odman in 1784. He based this theory off the fact that Siberian shamans used the mushrooms for religious purposes. When given to certain people, it could make them angry, hostile, and violent. This was a widely accepted notion for a great deal of time throughout history, until modern analysis has shown that the more likely culprit was a plant called Hyocamus niger. Although my research on this has crushed my dreams like a fresh clove of garlic, I still feel it is my duty to tell you the true tale of a berserker Viking who held off an army all by himself. Buckle up, because we're going on a trip all the way back to the year 1066. In that year, the Anglo-Saxon king Harold II had to deal with the scary sight of 300 Viking ships on the way to England. To make matters worse, his own brother was sailing with them. Lucky for Harold, he was ready for the invasion, and he was able to catch the Viking force by surprise. The Viking force was decimated by the surprise attack and decided to flee across a narrow bridge that created a natural choke point. A single berserker held off the Saxon army so long that he managed to kill over 40 men and give the Vikings plenty of time to regroup. It is said in all the sagas that he was finally slain by a pikeman who decided to float under a bridge and skewer the crazed man. His death, however, was in vain. Soon after, the Vikings surrendered, and that was the last Viking conquest to ravage England.
Surrender! I surrender!
Harold was kind enough to let the rest of them live so long as they promised to never return. In a way, the Stamford Bridge signaled the death of the Viking Golden Age. This event, sparked by a plant or a mushroom, changed history in a major way. Now hear me out before you roll your eyes. The reason Harold II was ready for the Vikings is actually due to the fact that he was anticipating an invasion of the north by William the Bastard. William led an army of Norman troops, modern-day French, to invade the Anglo-Saxon land. The time Harold had spent wasting time on the Vikings at Stamford Bridge gave the Normans the time they needed to land safely. Just 3 weeks later was the decisive Battle of Hastings, where Harold was killed and William took the throne of England and became known as William the Conqueror. This takeover changed everything in the English landscape. It determined the way they wrote, their accents, the cultural structure, and even led to the formation of the British Empire and with it the United States. Had that Viking decided to stay sober and not eat some crazy plant or mushroom, who knows what the world would look like today? Talk about a real-life butterfly effect. Once again, we are shown the power of food and the impact it can have on our entire history. One plant changed the course of our future, and there are plenty more instances than this one. However, that is for another time. Next time you see a mushroom, be as excited as a hobbit. If you like what you learned, please like and subscribe. If you didn't learn anything, we thank you for joining us. And remember, your food choices impact the world and its future.